Germany lay in ruins. Defeat, hunger, and humiliation gripped the nation. Amid the rubble of a fallen empire, a man with a fragile past and a furious ambition began plotting a rise that would shock the world. This is the story of how one man turned a nation's despair into an engine for unprecedented terror. He was once just a young man wandering through Vienna, his pockets empty, his head full of sketchbooks and broken dreams. A failed artist, twice rejected by the Academy of Fine Arts. He saw himself as a misunderstood genius, but within him, a storm of resentment, ambition, and a terrifying hatred was quietly brewing. The world had rejected him, so he would build a new world in his own image. From the rowdy beer halls of Munich to crowded political rallies, his voice began to ripple through the masses. He didn't just speak, he commanded attention. His words became weapons, fear became fuel, and Germany's deep-seated wounded pride became his personal battlefield. He offered simple answers to complex problems, pointing to scapegoats and promising a return to glory that a broken nation was desperate to hear. In 1923, brimming with overconfidence, he made his first move. The beer hall putsch, a chaotic attempt to seize power in Bavaria, ended in utter failure. He was arrested, humiliated, and his movement seemed crushed. Yet this public defeat only forged the blueprint for his future empire of chaos. It taught him a crucial lesson. Power wasn't to be taken by force alone, but subverted from within. Behind prison walls, he channeled his fury into words, writing the manifesto that would guide his nation to ruin. Mein Kampf, My Struggle, was not just a book. It was a chillingly detailed map for manipulation, a blueprint for leveraging fear, and a declaration of his unyielding ambition. While the world dismissed it as the ramblings of a failed revolutionary, it was, in fact, his entire game plan laid bare. Once released, he mastered the art of perception. He understood that reality was less important than the illusion of it. Hitler was everywhere, a constant presence in the minds of the German people, yet his true intentions remained hidden. He was a master at exploiting the fractures in society. The crippling fear of communism, the terror of economic collapse, and a deep, gnawing longing for national pride made millions follow him, almost blindly. And in the fertile soil of a nation's desperation, evil, dressed as a savior, found its roots and began to grow. Elections, street violence, and systematic intimidation became his primary tools. The brown shirts, his SA stormtroopers, patrolled the streets, their presence a constant reminder of the party's power. They blended fear with a theatrical display of discipline, turning obedience into a public performance. Democracy was being dismantled vote by vote, street by street, while many watched, either in support or in paralyzed fear. They were disastrously, fatally wrong. They had invited the fox into the henhouse believing they could tame him. Within months, the mask was off. The Reichstag fire provided the perfect pretext to suspend civil liberties. Laws were rewritten overnight. Germany transformed into a terrifying machine of ideology and fear, all while millions, caught in the spectacle, cheered for the man they saw as their new savior. The irony of history is a cruel one. While Hitler was consolidating his absolute power, the world largely looked away. International leaders and foreign journalists dismissed him as a temporary, radical sideshow, a loud but ultimately harmless figure. It was a catastrophic miscalculation, an underestimation that would cost millions of lives and plunge the continent into its darkest hour. Hitler understood the subtle, dark art of bending an entire nation to his will. He didn't just command, he manipulated. Fear, hope, pride, and hatred. Each emotion was a key on a piano he played with terrifying skill. He meticulously orchestrated a symphony of mass psychology until an entire population marched willingly and even enthusiastically into darkness. His voice, carried by radio waves, was a constant presence in every home. A nation was not just governed by him. It was being remade in his image. And the world, which had once dismissed him, began to watch with growing dread at the storm it had allowed to be nurtured. But the human cost of this blind devotion was catastrophic. Those who cheered him loudest, who believed in his promises of a glorious new dawn, would be among the first to suffer. The promise of restoration became a nightmare of total war, unimaginable terror, and devastating loss. The dream he sold was paid for with the lives of the very people who had bought it. And here lies the most bitter, cruel twist of all. Hitler's rise to power succeeded not just because of his own diabolical brilliance, but because good people, both within Germany and around the world, failed to recognize the danger until it was far too late. Those who underestimated him, those who appeased him, and those who looked away had, in their inaction, paved the path for catastrophe. Evil does not always arrive with a thunderous crash. Sometimes it whispers patiently in the ears of the desperate. It exploits our deepest fears, promises us our grandest hopes, and rises quietly, step by step, until the world can no longer afford to turn away. Thank you for watching. If you found this historical analysis valuable, please like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into the events that shaped our world.